All right, so for section 1.3, we're going to talk about four problems on the worksheet, numbers 1 and 2. So let's look at those first. Okay, so the directions up here tell me to name an angle or angles in the diagram described by each of the following. Okay, so this is the diagram that they are referring to. So number 1 tells me I need to name an angle that can be supplementary to angle AOB. So first, let's identify where angle AOB is. So if we look, whenever we are given an angle, we're going to follow it by where the vertices are going to line up at. So angle AOB. So that's going to be this angle right here. Okay. So we're asked to figure out an angle that is supplementary to angle AOB. So if we recall, two angles that are supplementary means that they are going to add to be 180 degrees together. Now, in this diagram, we are not given any angle measurements except for this one right here. We know that angle DOC right here will be a 90-degree angle, but the rest of them we're not given. Okay, so we have to kind of think about some of the angle relationships that we talked about, and one that we did talk about was a linear pair. Now, a linear pair is going to be a pair of angles that are supplementary to one another, and they also are going to lie on a straight line with one another. Okay, so we look at angle AOB. So we think about it, we're trying to imagine that one of these sides right here kind of extends into a straight line, and oddly enough, both of them do. So we look right here. So let's focus on this straight line right here. Okay, so if we look, we have angle AOB, and then paired with it, we have angle EOA. So angle EOA and angle AOB, since they both lie on this straight line together right here, and they make a linear pair, and so they're supplementary to one another, so that's one of our options that we could list. Another one that we could list is, again, if we're looking at angle AOB, and let's say this time we're going to go for this straight line, this up and down straight line. So now we look at what big angle is going to pair with angle AOB, and we see right here angle DOB. Okay, so DOB, it does include two different angles, but still, if we look at the angle as a whole, angle DOB is going to be supplementary to angle AOB. Their measures will add up to equal 180 degrees. So number 2 tells me to look for an angle that is adjacent and congruent to angle DOC. So angle DOC, we see that right here. This is the only angle that's actually given a measurement, and we know that it's a 90-degree angle. So first we need to find someone that is adjacent to it. Okay, so adjacent means next to. So we need to find an angle that is right next to this angle and also has to be congruent. So we're looking for a right angle, because that's what angle DOC is. It's a right angle. So we're looking for a right angle that is right next to angle DOC, or it shares a side with angle DOC. So at first glance, we may not see anything that's just popping out to us, but if we think about trying to look at a angle from a bit of a faraway distance, kind of taking out some pieces, we may be able to see something that works for us. So angle COB, that doesn't really seem like it could work, and angle EOD don't really seem like they could work. But what if we just imagined that this little ray right here didn't exist? So then we'd have angle COA. And here's the thing. We already said that this was a straight line. And so if I got two angles that lie on a straight line together, they're going to be supplementary. So if this angle is 90, that tells me that the angle that is supplementary to this angle also has to be 90. So it has to be congruent to it. So angle COA is going to be adjacent to this angle. And what's more is that it's also going to be a right angle. So this angle right here, angle AOC or angle COA, will be a right angle. Okay, so let's move on to numbers 9 and 10. Okay, so we are given this diagram now to work with. Okay, and we're asked to figure out the measures of the rest of these angles. We're going to look at angles 9 and 10. So first off, we are given angle EBF. So that's this angle right here that we're looking for. So we know that the whole thing, angle EBC, is a 90-degree angle. We can see it from that little box right there. It's kind of tiny, but we can make that out. And we also know that angle FBC right here is going to be a 39-degree angle. So if we want to figure out what angle EBF is, we just subtract 39 from 90 and we get 51 degrees. And then lastly, if I want to figure out angle EBA, so that's going to be this angle right here. Well, we know that EBA lies on a straight line with this one. It is adjacent angle EBC, so it will also be a 90-degree angle.